My name is Minkkinen, and I have been teaching about 27 years now. Here at Könönpellon School I've been working more than 10 years now, about 15 years. And I have the highest Finnish master degree done during my teacher college time, and after that I have studied more about evaluation and assessment. Mostly I have had special education lessons between 3rd and 6th grade. This year most of my lessons are now in 5th and 6th grade. Build kids so good self-esteem, self-knowledge that they can continue safely in the future. We give the basics of different subjects, and they need them when they continue. But without self-esteem, self-confidence, self-knowledge, they can't use those things we have given them. When I give numbers from our math exam, I am evaluating those skills we are studied.
Testing.
Nothing more, nothing less. But I don't evaluate the person there.
Yeah.
That's the big difference. I don't. In my numbers, there are not included the personality of the kid. We have to have something, which make a base for future studies. And therefore I understand that we have to have certain levels which shows that 8 is a good number for maths for you. But that 8 from mathematics doesn't tell for the kid everything. You are good at geometric, but how about the other calculations?
Very often kids that they are getting a 5, for instance, it's quite common that they get again a 5 the next time, maybe a 6 and then a 5 again, and their self-esteem it's lowering so deeply, and usually you have within 1, 2, 3 years maximum level A students and level B students.
They have learned themselves that I'm number 5.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's not correct. This problem is always there. It's always there. If you get from math test every time 5, it tells me that I have to teach this task better, and it tells also for the kid that I haven't learned this good enough, so I have to learn a little bit more of this. But it doesn't make a loser.
So
I haven't grown with this kind of mentality. It's like the relationship between a coach and a sportler. And it's pretty much talking and understanding each other. There have been quite a lot of changes during last 10-15 years. When I was studying, I have to find many of these issues from inside of me, talking with experienced teachers, mentors, such kind of persons, and maybe there is a little bit that I am I have been very interested in evaluation during whole my career, and this new curriculum gives teacher huge power, but at the same time huge responsibility, because we don't assess or evaluate the kids only by tests or how active they are during our lessons. They can show the knowledge, things they have learned, very many different kind of ways. And they can choose, they have ability and they have a possibility to choose the methods which are suitable for themselves. And at the same time they have a possibility to learn from each other. it's improving. The system is improving all the time because of this curriculum changes.
All right.
We have much more opportunities here because we have all the subjects by ourselves. We can mix them. We can make different kind of combinations. We can have India's religions and geography at the same time. But higher level, they have different teachers, and they have to learn now how cooperate more intensive because of the old system. There are teachers who have worked together for years, and there are teachers who want to keep his or her own subjects in her own hands. And I'm not sure how these new cooperation systems affect about the learning results. For example, they might get lower for short time, but when you think about longer period, I'm sure that they will be much more higher.
Well, definitely. I also think so. How do you describe a successful person, or what do you think is success in life?
A successful person is a friend with his or herself. He or she accepts himself or herself as he or she is. It's not high education for everyone. It's not a lot of money for everyone. I think that it's quite a big combination of happiness and overmindedness and good self-esteem, self-understanding. Nowadays we have much more different kind of possibilities to continue. And I think that when we in our gymnasium, they have to choose quite early the subjects which gives a line or direction if you want to be a doctor, for example. You have to keep focus on science and mathematics and biology and that kind of thing. When you are 15 years old boy, you don't know what do you want to do after 5 or 6 years. I think that you have to choose this kind of long-term things too early these days. Then I have been noticed that nowadays I have to work much harder, even here with this age group, that I can keep the kids focused on the task we are doing. Do we demand less than earlier?
Less?
Less, yes, less than earlier. Do we give up easier if somebody if something doesn't go smoothly ahead? Do we give up, or do we push again, try again? I think that we give up sometimes too early, kids as well as we as parents. Competition between youngsters in our high school, for example, it will be tough now because we have changed those intaking processes which lead to university, for example. They have to be they have to give their best now in our gymnasium in final tests. And when I think about 16 years old boy, 18 years old boy or girl, are they ready for that? I'm afraid not. There are very many reasons which, in my opinion, affect to that. And I don't know, is it generally easier to give up? In our society, I'm not sure if our kids in my class, for example, do they realize how good they have everything here? Little struggle can be huge for them, but in bigger picture, our problems are quite small.
Yeah.
And sometimes the goals are not realistic. Everyone can't be captain, for example, or doctor. You have to realize the lines, which gives you the line where you can move. And when you choose something, then you have to work for it. And everything is possible. For me, learning is not numbers. It's not years. It's not a skill of skating. For me, learning is a continuous process. And learning is more ways to learn for me. How do you can get the most effective way or sometimes nicest way to do something, to learn something? I think that in our system here in Finland is good that we can give basic knowledge of maths, Finnish language, English. I think that those three subjects can build a way where we can give a possibility for the kids to choose the way they can go. And I think that in Finnish system, as a whole system, we can't support the quicker learners as much as we should. We can give quite a lot of efficient and very high quality support for the slowly learners. We take care of everyone, but we can't give as good possibilities to create own way of learning for those who are quicker. We have basically three different types of learners.
Okay.
Those who need more support, those who are so-called normal. The learning process is quite smoothly, and they learn most of the things without big problems. And then
hopefully the majority.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they are quick learners. They have good imagination. They learn quickly. And I think that I should have more time to give more those kids. On my opinion, that's the problem.
Okay.
For me, the learning is the methods, and during those methods you know yourself as a learner better.
So.
This process is like in action research study. Whole time reflecting. I see that reflecting and evaluation as a part of growing process. The better, the earlier you can get it inside of your head. So you can take the best things, you are good at it, and they are useful for everything. And then you can notice the things that you are not so good at, and you can push them a little bit harder, or then you learn how to avoid them. You can find another way to do some things. And that's in the outside world. This is world outside of school. It's also important.
Sure.
We can use tablets here. We have a few computers, laptops we can use, but the differences between the schools are huge. And differences between teacher skills are quite big as well. So does it give the same opportunities to learn using technology for everyone? I doubt it. I think that we have to communicate face to face. Computers can't do that. I know that there are, in my class, there are a couple of boys who use quite a lot of computers. But I'm an evil lady. I have I've been directly contacted with the parents. I see when they are tired, or I see when they are restless or angry boys who use a lot of computers. They have very good English skills. They are not afraid to speak English. That's the good point. My son wrote very good degrees from our gymnasium in English. I haven't seen once he reading English words or grammatic or something like that. So I know that those positive effects as well, but I see the other side as well. And my parents, or parents of my kids, they are my parents. They have voice and they use it. And when we have parent meetings, I have told my opinion of these things, and I think that in this class the situation is quite good. And these kids can't use computer as well as they want.
As much as they want, okay.
Yeah. They have some limits. And that's one point is also that if they have other hobbies, they don't have time or they don't want to spend the time inside or with computer all the time.
Sure.
And I demand that I make my homework, the kids do their homework as well. Well, they are quite quick learner now. The surrounding society has taught them to catch things quick, but they are restless. They can't stay still as long as earlier. The variety of words which they have earlier had, it's smaller. Imagination shrinks some kind of way. And I think that they give up easier.
Right.
We have the same time to use as earlier,
Sure.
but we use it differently. We don't give the, we don't...
We have so many reasons to waste it nowadays. We have too many reasons to waste it.
And for me, it's wasted time when you don't read, for example. The kids find it very difficult to relax. The families doesn't spend time as a family. They don't spend time here in Finland as much as it was earlier. I don't teach if I don't have a piece of teaching. The kids can't learn if they don't have a peaceful area here. So I keep discipline on my own way, a lot of humor, my own example. I don't have to argue a lot with kids. And if I have to complain of something, I do it with the kid alone.
One-to-one.
Yeah, face to face. But here in my class, they know that I don't like hustling or bustling, and if it's easier situation, crafts or something, they know that they can talk about. And but if I am teaching something which is important, I expect that everyone listens. I haven't got any problems with discipline. I don't remember. Even those bigger guys, we had here also the classes from 7th to 9th. I don't remember problems with them. It depends how much you give from yourself. If you are like a dead fish, cold and you don't give any piece of yourself, you can't expect the kids give something to you. The main problems when the families are when it goes badly in families. You can see it here at school also, and it reflects to the behavior of the kid.
Sure.
And you can't help all of them. And as a teacher and as a person, that ruins me. I'm very sorry about those kids who I can't help. I can't go home and give some money or
You feel
help
helpless.
social relationships or and that's, as a teacher, I think that's the most difficult and worst thing. You can't help everyone. Even I have been teaching so long time, it hurts a lot. And when I think further, I think that those problems will be cumulative. Well, caring is the most important tool I have. Then cooperating with the kids and the parents, that's the second. Listening, trying to understand the difference between the kids. And the kids know that. They feel that.
Yeah, sure.
The opposite side of this caring is that you get you will be, after 6 years, I'm so close to these kids. They are almost as my own
Your
kids.
kids.
I'm already sorry when I have
You
to
start
give them for someone else.
I
Even
believe.
though we have problems here, but we solve them. I must improve my skills to use this new modern technology, because then I can speak the same language with the kids.
Okay.
They are better than I am. I get frustrated when the equipment or our net doesn't work as it should be. So it's quicker for me to have a pencil and write it down, or I draw, or I do it differently. I have to keep on the way of thinking that you don't need to do perfectly everything. I'm very harsh for myself sometimes. So in the beginning of my teaching years, I planned every lesson. And in the end of the year, I noticed that I haven't done even half of the plans. So with the experience, I can see that I pick the most valuable or most important or nicest things to do.
Yeah.
And I think that I'm quite good to cooperate with different kind of people. I may be frustrated if things doesn't go as quickly as I want. I'm quick doer. I can react fast, and I have to remind me that everybody else is not that way. But that's part of my personality. That's not that's also part of my teacher person. But it's so much my own way to do things that I have to remind myself about that. Yes, I think that we collaborate quite a lot. We change the lessons so that we can use our skills. I can handle the difficult boys as well as the minor girls from the first class as special education lessons. And because I'm not so good in music, so I'm glad to give those lessons away. We can mix the groups, we can change the lessons. I can go to the fourth class and give something if who is on the third class. So for example,
Like
Jukka
Katja?
Katja or Jukka
Yeah.
is very good in math. If I can't teach something the way I want, or somebody can't learn the ways I have given those knowledge or skills, I ask Jukka, and I can go there and keep something for Jukka's class.
Okay.
That's quite normal. I
Yeah,
can't
that's-
see any kind of difficulties.
I've also seen that. But is this kind of collaboration I've seen here general all over, well, not all over the country, but It's quite a basic way to do things in all the schools all over Finland?
It should be. In lower classes, it's easier to organize. And I've been in 4 different schools, I think. And in every one of them, we have done cooperation.
Yeah.
I don't know how common it's in other schools, but in our school, one of the most important values has been that you can show how you feel. It doesn't mean that if I'm in bad mood, I can come and say naughty things to Aya, for example. But if somebody has bad mood or something has happened, it's quite common that I go and hug. We laugh a lot together. We can cry together as well. So it tells quite a lot of this culture which we have built here. It takes years, but when we got new arrivals, new teachers, it's easy for them to feel as a part of community.
Sure.
And the kids they can see that.
For sure.
And they feel that.
Yeah.
And when you learn to know your colleague well, as a team member, as a human being, as a person, you also know how much to give and how much you can carry with the person together. We talk quite openly here. Well, I think that the task we have is that we should teach the kids to cope with difficulties.
Yeah.
I think that during my parenthood, in the beginning I wanted to save the kids, my sons, from the evil things.
You can't.
You can't. But I have tried to give the tools to cope with different kind of people, to cope with different difficulties, how to manage with yourself and with other people. If we do too much as a parents or as a teachers for the kids, if we do things ready for them, we take a chance them to learn very important things. And that's one of the issues I have talked with my parents, where my kids' parents. Don't peel the potato for your kid in the first class.
Yeah.
You know it, but your kid doesn't know. Well, when I think our Finnish system, a part of our healthcare system in whole Finland is that I don't know the English name. It's not nursery school or that, but our sairaanhoitaja. We have educated persons which take care of the parents and becoming mothers before the birth, and afterwards they follow how the family life rolls. We have at school we have a subject where when we start here in our, for example, part of this society subjects, we do talk about these things, but 12 years old mother, they can't
motherhood at 12 not, but relationship.
But yes, relationships, yes, all the time. But 8th or 9th class, they have different kind of lessons. But we have a part of these things in our curriculum. We have noticed that there are difficulties in this, but the problem is very common that if we can't teach here, that don't give up too easy. Try again, you can do that. You can see it in parenthood as well. Marriage is not an easy task. It needs job. That's the positive thing that here in our school system, that we can use as a teacher our own brains and hearts. We have a lot of discussion here in my class, and I think that I know that in Aya's class as well. When we have religion lessons, it's not only we use Bible very little, but we try to learn how to use heart and brain together. So we talk a lot of different kind of things. Bullying, forgiving, learning from mistakes we made, how to accept differences. That's the most important thing of our religion studies, I think.
Yeah.